We appreciate your patience during this brief delay. Assistance is just ahead.
Holiday! Holiday!
Hey, hey,
Holiday!
hey, hey, hey.
You're late again. Okay, why are you late, Holiday?
The call centre, for those that haven't been, for those that have, is a performance programme dedicated to the voice and the unspeakable. Each month we welcome an artist, writer, translator whose concern with the voice somehow complicates what it is to speak, to stand on this stage that I built with my MDF that my sister bought me from Leeds.
We appreciate your patience during this brief delay. Assistance is just ahead.
Operatic laugh.
I love you guys! I love you guys! I love you guys! I love you guys!
Slow dancing with a llama at midnight. Big intro, very active dancing.
A drama. As a writer, you failed to address my concerns. What are they?
As a writer, you failed to address my concerns. I've asked you several times, I've asked you too. You failed too. You failed to address my concerns. You too. Don't shy away from it. Don't shy away from it. Just take it on. It's just feedback. Okay? You've been writing amazing things recently. Really amazing things. I love reading your stuff. But just take on some of my concerns. You too. You felt that, right? No, cool, right. Just take on the concerns, guys.
Lil Wayne says in a song, quote, "I do what I do, and you do what you can do about it."
I do what I do, and you do what you can do about it. Can do about it. I do what I do, and you do what you can do about it. All together, I do what I do.
And you do what you can do about it.
No, we're allowed to freestyle when we get it. Do you know? We have to get it first. Right? I do what I do. Correct. I do what
I do what
I
do what I do.
And you do what you can do about it.
What you can do about it.
I do what I do.
I do what I do.
And you do what you can do about it.
And you do what you can do about it.
Deep breath. Operatic laugh. I love you guys!
I love you guys!
Well done, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Amazing. Oh. So this month, it's not just me, as we all know. We are welcoming wonderful, wonderful Ulyses Razo! So, call centre number 7. We've done 7 of these now. That's quite good, I think. In this little space. Today, personal life. by Ulyses Razo, named after his most recent chapbook. The text is a bold appropriation of Wikipedia pages, felted into a messy stream of absurdist non-biography. When I read Ulysses's work, there's a private little laugh about how we dramatise and underplay our obsessions, loves and pains. Razo's chapbook was published by Ulyses Press and has had other poems published by Go City Press. Razo's work has also been featured by Hobart, Wonder Press, SARKA, Car Crash Collective, Charm School and others. So we welcome to the call centre stage Ulyses Razo.
Cool. This is very much unlike any other reading I've ever been to. And I guess it's not a reading, it's something completely other. But I will be reading some stuff, most of which is not from the personal life project. So, but I will read from that as well. I'll read some new stuff from some future editions of that. The first poem I'll read tonight is titled Cold Summer Night, which is definitely not right now. Okay, Cold Summer Night. Sucking the alcohol off the ice, she said it's taking a long time because of the path I'm on. Seeing the skyline's necessary for me to know I'm real. We swallowed the round slugs. Only a date could have gotten me out of bed. There is a place you can go when your body's sick with love, she said. Is your room still your room if you're not in it? You have nice hands, like a man who doesn't work. I couldn't place the accent. A muse must be somewhat dumb, Ariana wrote in the dream last night. My soul's melted from my feet. A woman walked with her arms crossed against her chest. Suddenly I felt the need to understand my life, to know what I was going to do, how I was going to feel, now that I had no family, no career. It saddened me a little how little I had to say. Don't you believe in love, she asked. Of course, I said, not listening, as I listened once. So that's the first poem. This next poem is called Murders, and it was in the first issue of Die Quieter Please, which is a London-based publication, and is also the titular poem of my first chapbook, Murders and Other Poems. Murders. Murders sleep on the ledge. Every day I wake up and apologize to the page. I refuse as consolation that my spit looks like Sprite. That pigeon you didn't let land clings to its flight. I wanted more from everything. These poems, like proof of some care for what I didn't love enough to remember the birthdays of. Regardless, your absence renders me less intelligent. Does the word collapse suggest a bridge to you? Far be it from me to ever touch a thing enough again to kill it. So a lot of these poems are very depressing, but I promise there will be less depressing stuff later on. But yeah, just have to bear with me for a while, I guess. This one is called Some Buildings, and it was in Wonder Press's online journal. Some buildings feel like revenge against the sky. A few buses apologize. Maybe you'll marry a boring man. I touch myself and see a bird pluck its feathers. This poem is called Itokyo, which is a Japanese restaurant in Soho, which I really like. English breakfast makes me want to vomit. You were probably eating out last night, or the person you're with was. You have the right to remain remembered. I wish words could do to you what lust did to my brain. Watch the couple sitting in first class. Now remove the woman. Now remove the plane. This next poem is called Roses, Bricks, Blood, and it is the eponymous poem of my next chapbook, and that will be coming out from Go City Press later this summer. I'm somewhere, but I don't know where. Maybe an elevator, rising in free fall. Daniel says poetry's a bird next to a plane. I think it's a bird inside a turbine. During the Desire Path Symposium, Ben said networking's important, but no man's a failure who has friends. I think I see a girl seeing JFK for the last time. There are some faces you don't know will love again. I have had a hard time asking for water at restaurants. There are those who remember everything. Au pied de cochon, you telling me about the class you were taking on, the myth of romance, me getting up from the table and going to the bathroom and pretending to faint, to break the infinity mirror. It's really hot in here, holy shit. Alright, cool. Something entirely different, I just realized. Alright,
Borrow an outfit if you want.
no, it's fine. It's too late now, I think. Okay. This is called geography. Geography. Under the table, on a train, in a taxi, on your break, in the bathroom, in the woods, in the middle of a meeting, in a bookshop, in a library, at a wedding, at a funeral, in a church, in the confessional, in the pews, in a corn maze, on Halloween, at Christmas dinner, on the table, on the kitchen counter, in the laundry room, in the backyard, on the grass, in a pool, by the sea, in the sea, on a boat, while you're driving, in the middle of a football field, with the lights on a tennis court, in the clay, on a Ferris wheel, in the bleachers, in the hallway, in a classroom, in an alley, in a dark, dark alley, in a tunnel, in the sewers, on the subway, in the cinema, on a fire escape, on a roof, in a car garage, in a parking lot, under a bridge, on a ferry, in your childhood bed, in your new bed, in the closet, or the changing room, in a park, in the bushes, in a fountain, against a tree, on a roller coaster, at a water park, in the playground, on the slide. Okay, we're like, I don't know how far along, but like we're closer to like the fun part than we're exploring, so that's good. Alright, this one's titled Piñata, and I've been informed that people do know what that is here. That's good. Yeah, okay, Piñata. What if I performed some positivity for you? The way the sun opened your face. The mind's commute to the page was heavy today. From the sky comes the sound of the ocean flying. Pull the skin over your eyes. Could you be happy if you had to? I was reading like all this stuff to my girlfriend last night, and the answer very clearly was like no to that question of being happy, because a lot of it was really depressing. But hopefully, yeah, there will be less depressing things. Aladdin's is the next poem, and it's named after a kebab shop in Seattle, which is where me and my friends would always go to at like 3 in the morning, which is when it was open. What's in the falafel, I say. Everything, they say. Alright, the next poem is titled Renaissance, and it will be coming out in the next edition of Blush Lit, which is a New York-based magazine. I see a skyscraper and think of the side of your face. Remember that day I went quiet in the sun, and you said it felt like a breakup. Like, Courtney, I'm not in control of the length of this report. Today I asked every friend I had if they were busy, and they all said yeah. I put down my book and pick up my phone because I want my joy over and done with. You stood between me and the remainder of an unfulfilling life. In front of a folding table, I got in the gorilla suit so you could express your reservations. It happened in the basement of my life, the knot in the curtain looking like a face. I had you waiting across the sea, and then just the sea. When my mom told my dad she didn't love him anymore, I was trying to break the doorframe with my arms. I was trying to see if my arms would go numb, or if that was only a myth. I was trying to find out if when I stepped out of the frame, whether my arms would stand up like morning wood, which I didn't know the meaning of yet. My father on his knees, his tears on her lap, and she not looking at me as I walk past, pick up my toy from the basement. Where is it, that nourishment I vomited inside myself? Well, there are no gardens anymore, but there isn't someone across the galaxy either, or no one we could talk to, ever. When you asked me what I loved most, you or writing, I said I can fail to be loved, but I can't fail to write this. I've found my new fetish, which is falling asleep while someone carefully removes a bird from the road so it can die a little more quietly. Okay, I think this is like the last mainly depressing poem, and then we're at like the fun, like more interesting part, I guess, conceptually. All right, Affliction, which is this is titled after a movie by Paul Schrader, which I really like. Yeah. Listening to Mara, the world underwent an update. No feeling like shit on a Friday. People keep asking what's with all the movie merch, but I don't want to elaborate. Still, I'd like to see what the rain might bring when it's mixed with all you bring up in me. Drinking my way into a headache that felt like a fly was on every nerve ending. Is it true that hate is a symptom of love? I'm waiting for poetry to resume its effect on me. Cold summer night, what are you the symbol of? Hunger bends my spine and I'm afraid of being loved by someone beautiful again. I'm too ashamed to greet the cat that meets me every morning. After a week with friends comes the need to not be alone. I remember you saying once, you're not that desperate, but I am. Smoking that keep honeyed spliff, pouring all that beer into the lake. I was trying to get arrested. I could feel my age when, at the reading, I said to Will, what have you been up to? And he said work, and Colton said work, and Shai said work. In the cab to Nighthawk, I thought the shrooms were hitting, but I was just happy to see the TV glow. In the mundane miracle, blinds become. Life is all about goodbyes. Okay, so all the depressing poems are kind of done now. There's still some really like fucked up shit that happens in the rest of what I read, but it's not really about me. So. This is from an upcoming edition of Personal Life. I think it'll probably be from Personal Life 3. But the individual piece is titled Personal Life 45, which is probably very confusing. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it. Personal Life 45. Harvey Levin, the founder of TMZ, said of me in an interview, quote, she's gold. She is cracked to our readers. Her life is a complete train wreck, and I thank God for her every day. Manuel Bentecourt of Vice wrote about the overwhelming, quote, queer adoration I receive, especially from gay men, and said that, quote, where other gay icons exude self-possession, her fragile resilience has made her an even more fascinating role model, closer to Judy Garland than to Lady Gaga. She's a glittering mirror ball, a fractured reflection of those men on the dance floor. In my view, the theme of the film Juju, the Sent-Down Girl, is that of no resolution, that awful things happen to the protagonist throughout the film, and that she ultimately dies tragically at the end. Through acting, music, art, and writing, my colleagues and I attempt to match the, quote, rotten realness spirit of the film, that sometimes life turns out with a worst possible case scenario. In 2014, Skidmore College in New York began to offer a special topics sociology course using me as a, quote, lens through which to explore sociological thinking about identity, entertainment, media, and fame. In an interview with USA Today, I said, quote, my whole life has been a waste. I've been a failure. I continued, quote, I just want to escape. I'm really embarrassed with myself and my life. I want to be a missionary. I think I could do that while keeping my dignity without letting people know they chased me out of the country. I want to get this part of my life over and done with as soon as possible. In this country, nothing good is going to come of me. People put me so high, I want to tear that image down. Around this time, I attended my first wedding in black overpants and a white t-shirt upon which I had written the groom's name in my blood. In 2009, I summarized my ideal aesthetic as a confluence of German Jewish philosopher Walter Benjamin and American rapper Gucci Mane. Quote, America seems like a series of abandoned parking lots, streetlights, and abandoned sofas. The Washington Post's Emily Yar has called me, quote, one of our first great reality TV stars before anyone could absorb the psychological damage it could cause. I described the period between my albums Knife Play and A Promise as full of really bad things in my personal life, and I've stated that the tone of Fabulous Muscles reflected a, quote, incredibly, incredibly violent, incredibly, incredibly jarring, and difficult to take string of events in my life. In my 2019 Attitude article, I discussed the fact that I was born with a quarter-inch vestigial tail. Quote, I had a tail when I was born. They chopped it off. They stole my tail. I'm really sad about that story. I married actress Robin Givens at Holy Angels Catholic Church during a traditional ceremony in Chicago. Givens was known at the time for her role in the sitcom Head of the Class. Our marriage was especially tumultuous with allegations of mental instability on my part. Matters came to a head when we gave a joint interview with Barbara Walters on 2020 in September 1988, in which Givens described life with me as, quote, torture, pure hell, worse than anything I could possibly imagine. Givens also described me as, quote, manic depressive on national TV, while I looked on with an intent and calm expression. Okay, so that was Personal Life 45, and I'm just going to read one more Personal Life, which I won't say anything about either. This is Personal Life 37, and then we can just like go outside, because it's so warm here, and we can have a nice time. I think that's what we do, right? We go outside, okay, cool.
This is also a nice time.
Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, so yeah, last thing. Personal Life 37. I have been traditionally ascribed with the ability to levitate and as having had various mystical experiences. One day, as the leader of a theatrical troupe, I was performing before the king, intending to expose Christian religious rites to ridicule by my audience. I pretended to receive the sacrament of baptism. As the play continued, however, I suddenly, while performing, had a true conversion experience on stage. I announced my new faith and refused to renounce it, even when ordered to do so by my king. I persisted in my faith, and I was finally ordered to be beheaded. Instead, I traveled to the Huron missions with about 40 other persons, including several Huron chiefs and Jesuit Father Isaac Hogues. We were captured by the Mohawk, taken to their easternmost village of Alcerneon, and tortured. After teaching a Mohawk boy the sign of the cross on the feast of St. Michael the Archangel, 29 September 1642, I received a blow to the head with a tomahawk. I was handsome, witty, gallant, and delighted in fine clothes. I spent my money lavishly. I also spent a lot of my time in lonely places. As the phenomena of flying or levitation was widely believed to be connected with witchcraft, I was denounced to the Inquisition. At their command, I was transferred from one Franciscan friary in the region to another for observation, first to Assisi, then briefly to Rubia, and finally to Fasongone. These names are really hard to pronounce. Where I lived with the friars and under their supervision. Later, the prefect of studies selected me to participate in a discussion of philosophy at the Greek college. I opened the discussion with great clarity and profoundness, but after returning to my own quarters, I was seized with a fever. My lungs became inflamed and my strength diminished rapidly. Pope Galatius stated that I was among those saints, quote, whose actions are justly reverenced among men, but whose name is known only by God. Thank you so much.